Are you tired of mood swings, fatigue, and stubborn weight gain? You just can't seem to get that weight off. This is where most doctors aren't really understanding or even telling women about hormone dysregulation and the resistance of the bioaccumulation of various things in the body that dysregulate estrogen and progesterone. That's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video, the truth about estrogen dominance and progesterone decline, and what we can do to really help regulate it. So this is the reality. As women age, out of the thousands of lab tests that I've done in Dutch panels, in Labrix panels, saliva tests, blood tests, urine tests, etc., what I have seen is the trend is very, very clear. Women have declining progesterone levels and increased estrogen levels. They are oftentimes estrogen dominant. Why is that a concern? It causes mood swings. It causes difficulty sleeping. It causes weight gain, especially that muffin top around your belly and in your upper thighs and your legs. The other thing that it causes is issues with stress regulation, and you're typically not able to handle stress, or your resilience around stress isn't as good as it could be. Now, the biggest thing that estrogen dominance creates, unfortunately, is the process of cancer. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about communicating in this video what we can do or what we should do to regulate estrogen, progesterone. Here is the thing, is that insulin resistance and inflammation, increased inflammation, it causes an increase in estrogen and a decrease in progesterone. And so there are a number of different things that is essential to understand about regulating estrogen and increasing progesterone. Typically, when you're doing things to decrease estrogen, it's going to naturally increase progesterone. And one of those things is making sure your blood sugar levels are optimal. Continuous glucose monitor can be very beneficial for women that are trying to figure this out, to regulate their hormones a little bit better, because look, we have food sensitivities and we eat foods that are different and spike our insulin different in different physiologies. So somebody eats a sweet potato, their insulin stays plumb line. Another person eats a sweet potato and it spikes their insulin. So it's important to see the nuance for who you are individually. And ultimately, getting on more of an anti-inflammatory diet is going to be really, really important. So there's a few things I've researched here that I think are important. Number one is you want to look at increasing your fiber intake. Okay, so things like flax seeds, chia seeds, things that you get in vegetables will help to essentially eliminate excess estrogen through the consumption of that. The ideal goal is to get 35 grams of fiber a day, and you can get that through berries. You can get that through avocados, have like 10 or 15 grams of fiber in them, very high in fiber, but that's huge. And then cruciferous vegetables. There's broccoli, there's cauliflower, there's Brussels sprouts, there's kale, and they contain I3C. So I3C is indole 3-carbinol, which is really important for the removal of estrogen inside your body. And of course, healthy fats as well. The cool thing about avocado is you've got all that healthy fat in it, but you also have all that healthy fiber in avocado. So healthy raw nuts and sprouted nuts, you can use a dehydrator to get them crunchy afterwards. I would recommend against roasting your nuts. A lot of the oils can go rancid that way. Fatty fish like salmon, sea bass, things of that nature can be really high in healthy omega-3s, which is really good for you, and is critical for hormone production as well as regulating your hormones. And then things that will help to boost progesterone is like vitamin B6 foods and things that are high in vitamin B6. So you've got turkey, you've got bananas, you've got spinach, you've got potatoes are high in vitamin B6. Now, you don't want to consume a ton of potatoes, or just like, oh, sweet, I can eat as many potato chips as I want. I would eat potatoes in moderation just because they can spike your insulin, but it is, something that is high in the B6 that helps to support healthy progesterone levels. The other thing that helps support progesterone levels is magnesium. So taking a magnesium supplement, consuming things like chocolate that are high in magnesium, or leafy greens or almonds are really good. Zinc sources also are really good for progesterone function and regulation. And so things like pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, as well as cashews are really good in the support of the pituitary gland that helps to indirectly regulate progesterone levels. And then obviously this goes without saying, but you definitely want to minimize your processed food consumption as much as you can, as they cause a lot of hormone dysregulation inside your body. Now, one of the biggest things that causes estrogen dominance, this is an estrogen dominant type thing, which is why a lot of men are becoming feminized, is alcohol. Beer, is estrogenic. Alcohol is estrogenic. So I hate to break it to you, but the overconsumption of alcohol is estrogenic, and there's processes of, metabolism of alcohol that's even carcinogenic. So I want you to minimize alcohol as much as you can, or if you do drink, do it clean, like, consume, let's call it, clean alcohol without all the sugars. Put some citrus in there, maybe put some herbs in there. You can also go to dryfarmwine.com and you can see some of the alcohol that has been sourced without the additives that they put in Napa Valley, and all of the different toxins that a lot of these wineries are using inside of their wine. And it's really important to get really healthy wine if that's what you're wanting. And so what's good about dry farm wine is it has higher mineral content because the roots go down deeper into the soil. And so the grapes are a much healthier with a better microbiome. And so you, and by the way, they don't use pesticides and herbicides and stuff like that on it. And so you're getting organic biodynamic wine that is, much healthier for you. And they call it hangover-free wine because it has less of an impact. But that is only if you're going to drink. My recommendation is to do what I've done, which is to cut it out completely. And it's just a game changer. What I found is even 2 glasses of, some of the high-end bougie alcoholic beverages, that didn't even get me tipsy at all, impacted my deep sleep score and my sleep scores, my readiness scores. Forget this, 3 days in a row. And I experimented with this so many different times. It's unfortunately something that I would just highly recommend staying away from. All right, so what else causes issues? The gut microbiome and the gut itself has a huge connection to the estrogen that forms inside the body. Okay, so this here is very interesting. The microbiome influences progesterone, estrogen, and there's a collection of bacteria. It's called the estrobolome. Okay, so it's like the estrogen producing bacteria in your gut. Okay, so the estrobolome essentially metabolizes and regulates estrogen. And so when that can get out of whack, essentially what ends up happening is the breakdown of excess estrogen doesn't happen, and then you get estrogen dominance in your blood, in your body. Okay, so the importance of a healthy microbiome is absolutely huge for your progesterone levels indirectly, because it drives down inflammation in your body and can help increase the health of your progesterone. The last thing I will say about this is the importance to regulate your microbiome. So if you're consuming a lot of sugar, if you're consuming a lot of processed foods, that's one thing that is not going to do very well in the health of your microbiome. But on the flip side, if you're eating healthy fibers, healthy fats, consuming different prebiotics and probiotics. I love taking, the Microbiome Labs products, as well as fermented vegetables and things like kimchi and some of this South Korean and Asian fermented foods like natto and things of that nature is really, really good for your gut in different ways, and can help you really boost the health of your gut so that you can regulate your hormones. So there are a bunch of new tests out there for hormone regulation and dysregulation. A Dutch panel is good, but Vibrant Wellness has come out with a new panel that is very comprehensive for women and is kind of the competitor to Dutch now. And it is looking at a lot of very interesting data. So if you're looking to do a hormone panel, I would recommend Vibrant Wellness. It's good just to look at what is going on in your body from that perspective. The other thing I would look at is a toxic burden test. I would look at the bioaccumulation of various environmental factors in your body, because unfortunately that also is estrogenic, some of the toxins that bioaccumulate inside of your body as well. And so the last thing I will say about this is if you do have an increased amount of fat around your belly, especially men and women, it acts as an organ that turns testosterone into estrogen. Okay, so it actually drives estrogen dominance even more. So one of the things that I always recommend is, hey, get on an exercise regimen, get on a nutrition plan, lose some weight. That is one of the best things you can do to regulate hormones, as well as reducing the risks of estrogen dominance. So definitely look to doing a proper detoxification after you prepare your drainage pathways and your detoxification pathways, because you definitely don't want to detox when your detox pathways haven't been supported. And it's important when you are going to balance your estrogen and progesterone levels to be looking at what you can do to maximize the mitochondria and the health of the mitochondria, because that is a factor that will push ATP and energy into your body to be able to balance your hormones and optimize your health and vitality. So there's a lot there. There's so much more I want to say, but hopefully this has added a lot of value to you in just the natural ways that we can balance our hormones. What I would do is just search out what are the top estrogenic foods, what are the top foods that will help support progesterone levels. I've shared some on this video, but maybe an AI software that you're using or Google can help you get some really healthy lists there. And if you like this information, you want to get more information about longevity, about regenerative medicine, about all of the doctors and experts I've coached and trained, and what we're learning clinically from all the research and information that we're getting back from universities and from these clinics, these thousands of clinics across the country, please just post in the comments any questions that you have, and I will create content in the future around those specific questions. Go ahead, click that bell button to be notified about future videos, hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to adding more value to you in the future. Thanks so much.